Hello, and welcome to a scene for Rage Across New York, and the Mage venue as well, whatever the Mage venue's version is. Um, Alicia is making her way into the Verbena chantry, limping very slightly, and on her way from the front room towards her room to get a bit cleaned up, because there is, in fact, rather a lot of blood.
Jericho, for his part, has not been out this way for quite a long time, actually. The Rabbinic Chantry being so far out of New York in general makes it a little bit hard to do any type of commercial visit, but he goes ahead and takes the opportunity anyway, simply because he hasn't heard a lot from the Verbena out here for quite some time. He's getting a little bit nervous.
And as Alicia makes her way in, she will cross paths with Jericho. Oh, hi.
Hey, Jericho, for his part, is actually wearing what appears to be a dress shirt with a tie, red tie, if you want to know. Dress pants. Actually, it seems like he's more dressed to go out than anything else. But the way he's acting doesn't really give you any indication about where he should be going right now. Also, apparently, he has sunglasses in his pocket for some reason.
Um, have you sorted out the things with your wardrobe?
Things with my wardrobe, well, as you can see, I've definitely upgraded since we last talked, but Jericho's going to go ahead and go into his pocket and start fiddling around with something in his pocket that you, having been around Jericho for a while, know that he's twiddling around with his root talisman, doing a simple Life 1 effect when he sort of realizes that you're not as up as you ought to be.
Yep. There's actually kind of she's got one hand over some claw marks. Some rather deep claw marks, not very nice.
Where
I will go with abdomen. I don't know, they weren't really described. So yeah,
Okay, okay.
upper hip, lower abdomen on the right hand side. Why not?
Okay, Jericho is actually going to go ahead and approach, and it's going to look at you and see if there's a. Do you mind if I take a look?
Uh, it, it's okay, yeah. And she'll kind of pull the t-shirt away, but it will stick slightly to the and take her a little bit of a time to get it away from the edges because fabric has a tendency of doing that when it's frayed where it's been clawed.
Fair dues. Jericho will go ahead and stoop down just a little bit. He'll go ahead and raise his right hand, extend the fingers out, and just sort of first he'll just go ahead and overshadow the claw mark just to trace it around a little bit.
It's rather large, but if you
And
spread your fingers quite wide, you can probably kind of imagine it. But it's probably made by a bigger hand.
Interesting, interesting. Jericho is going to go ahead and gesture towards any piece of furniture and simply say, "Do you mind if you lie down just a little bit? I want to take a good look at this."
Okay. And she'll shuffle onto one of the tables. and lie down, feeling more than a little bit awkward, but just kind of letting him look at it.
Okay. Jericho goes into his bag and produces two very, very pink latex gloves, actually. And along with the latex glove, he goes ahead and finds actually a cherry sugar sucker. He goes ahead and offers it to her at her end of the table. Want one?
Yeah, sure, thank you. and and she'll start eating the lollipop.
Okay, okay. Jericho goes in back into his pocket and produces the root talisman that he often used, sets it onto one side of the table. As he goes ahead and examines the wound just a little bit, he touches it very, very lightly to see if there's any soreness there.
There'll be a slight intake of breath because, let's face it, it will be sore, but it's not enough to make her pull back because the pain's pretty bad to begin with, and she's been through worse.
Goes ahead and examines it a little bit more. Just the one mark he makes mention.
Yeah, mostly Travis and the new Andre, not the old Andre, the new Andre. There's two Andres now. Uh, he the two of them took most of the damage, but I fixed them up.
Okay, cool. How did you get this? I mean, what were the circumstances?
Well, we were in the Umbra, and there were giant wolf spider things that were really rather nasty. Um, and one of them clawed me.
You may have to repeat just after one of them.
Oh, one of them clawed me
Okay,
with its
okay.
paw.
Spider wolves
Yes.
in the with claws. He goes ahead and examines it a little bit, but
And they were
then he
full of
quickly
goo.
realized that full of goo. You say
They- they- they-
interesting.
yeah. Well, you know how insects, they've got like hard outer skeleton and not an inner skeleton?
Mhm.
It seemed like they were mostly that. And so when they died, the goo kind of went everywhere. Just icky.
They explode.
No, just kind of
Did
drained out the holes and it went sort of kind of like deflated.
mm, goo was the goo acidic in any way? Did it harm anybody
No,
that
it
got
was good
splattered?
because the last weird monster thing we fought, that did have acid blood.
That was what I was worried about. Okay. He goes in and examines it and realizes that most of this tissue has already actually scarred over.
Well, scabbed over. It's more that it's starting to heal by this point. Because theoretically, I'm thinking this would probably be an hour or two afterwards. So it's starting to heal, but it takes a full day for a dot of ag, and there's two dots there. So
Interesting. You'll actually feel from Jericho's instructions, the way he's tending to this, investigating it, that there's an actual surge of life energy that comes from him that you're aren't quite familiar with this touch actually.
okay.
It's a bit of a tingle every so often, mostly due to the claw wound, but it seems like something is flowing out of him, something that you haven't felt before.
Okay. She's going to probably just keep watching him do whatever it is he's doing, and yeah, she might just put that down to weirdness in general. But
Jericho
we'll see.
quickly. Jericho quickly is going to assume that apparently you have some type of healing factor that he doesn't know about. He looks at you and simply says, "Have you ever had this kind of injury before?"
Uh, Not this exact kind of injury, but yeah, quite a lot of injuries. There's a lot of things that you have to deal with.
Okay,
But then
okay.
that's kind of how I ended up here.
Fair dues. I don't think this will take very, very long. I mean, to your people, this will probably just be a bruise. But let me just go ahead and clean this up a little bit and dress it a little bit. As Jericho kind of does. He asks you to go ahead and arch your back a little bit just so that he can wrap around this particular bandage all the way around.
Um, Thanks. Yeah, it probably won't take too long, but it's a bit messy. Be nice not to
Okay.
get blood all over my clothes. Um,
Jericho's gonna go ahead and after he wraps you up, just go ahead and tap you on the back to gesture to get you to sit upright.
mhm.
And he goes back into his magical murder bag to produce what seems like a bottle of aspirin.
And she'll look at it and yeah, dosages are a bit odd with us. It's probably best if I just grit my teeth and get through it.
That might be good, but I still feel better if you take one of these. Actually, looks at you rather incredulously. Okay, Alicia, you're gonna have to explain to me the spirit, non-spirit aspect of yourself again, because I'm trying to work this out as best as I can. I'm trying to figure out what kind of medicine to work on you.
Right. Well, basically we're both. That's kind of the way it's been explained to me. We're both spirit and physical, and I'm not sure there's really many other ways to describe it. Because if you think about it, if there's a spirit, most of the time they can't really get through to our realm very well and they can't really stay here. But they can do things here. Now, if they also had a body and kind of could live here, that would be a werewolf, I think.
Hmm. Okay, okay. Just go ahead and grab this, and Jericho will gesture for you to go ahead and take the bottle in your hand just a quick second.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll go ahead and tap you on the elbows just to get your arms raised.
Uh-huh.
And what Jericho's going to do is he's going to take a permanent marker, actually. And what he's going to do is he's going to start to actually make characters on your particular wound, or at least on the wrappings that he just made around your wound.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what happens. Nothing quite yet, as he writes one of the first sentence that he wants to make. He's actually taking his time, and when he reaches one end of your torso, he's just going to go ahead and walk on over to the other side of the table and see if he can't continue the particular sentence that he wanted. He's taking his time for this, you'll notice.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. And again, he'll walk around a third time, actually. And pretty much what you can see is basically below you. Your torso is now covered in these wrappings, and now the wrappings are covered in these different runic symbols. And he keeps going around and around and around with not much effect until the last time. It's about 30 seconds of all of this particular nonsense, but after the third round, it feels better. Not too much so, but a little bit better, actually. The pain is starting to subside quite a bit from that particular wound. Not that any damage has been healed mechanically wise, just that the pain from the wound is going to be a little bit less.
Cool. So presumably the wound penalty might be gone, but other than that, not much. Though it's only the one. And she has definitely
If you want to think about it in a mechanical sense, think about it like this. One particular wound penalty has been erased.
Yep. That's the only one she has. Thank you. That feels a lot better.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest, straining yourself quite yet, but it should help you out a little bit. It would be a shame to see you not here. So, can you tell me what is the most dangerous spiritual animal this side of the gauntlet?
I don't really know, but apparently those things that we were fighting earlier can get to this side of the gauntlet, which is a bit worrying. Fortunately, they didn't seem to know that, but yeah, apparently they can go to this realm, and that's yeah. That could be a bit worrying for the people who aren't like Garu. Because I think I could take one of them by myself if I had to, but definitely not four.
It's a little bit interesting. Well, at least in my experience, it's always been the only spiritual that I'm actually afraid of at this very, very moment happens to be reindeer.
Oh, why? Reindeer seems to be, well, as far as I know, reindeer is quite good. Travis and Aaron have reindeer as their totem.
I know. It's just the thing is, they don't seem to like me, or at least one particular sort of reindeer don't like me. They almost scared me. Actually, they did scare me only a few nights ago, and yeah, caused a lot of bit of damage. I think most of my no. 3 of my ribs were broken. My lung was punctured. My diaphragm was stretched beyond belief. They knocked me out, and I spent about 10 seconds bleeding out until somebody was able to stabilize me.
That's terrible. And you're kind of a bit more fragile, I think. So, how are you better already?
How am I better? I'm surprisingly resilient. No matter how many times you knock me down, I always seem to get back up. Plus, my craft.
She'll nod.
Yeah. I got ran over by a reindeer for Christmas, which was awesome. And all I was trying to do is to collect the damn things in order to try to bring them back to Santa's little helpers, actually.
So why didn't you try herding them instead?
I,
You don't want to be in front of the reindeer.
yeah, well, they started to act really, really weird, and the only thing I could think of doing was keeping them in the enclosed area so they didn't run away. And for my trouble, I got skewered by their antlers, and then I got stomped on. I think, yeah, Aaron was the one that picked me up afterwards and made sure that I didn't die on the street.
Yeah, he seems to be quite good at that. But it does sound like a lot of trouble. Did you get them back in the end?
We got most of them back. However, a night or two ago, we were trying to track them down again. Uh, weren't quite able to. It seems like a group of people had got to them before us, and were starting to haul them away. Me and Aaron tried the best we could to reclaim the reindeer, but we just weren't able to. They had some kind of magic to them to keep the reindeer docile and transport them. The best we got up was the name of their removal service, as well as an address they used for some insurance papers.
Well, do you know the names of the reindeer?
To be quite honest, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Okay, it's just because I don't know if this kind of applies, but there is this way that you can find things, and you just kind of need to know their name. I don't know if it will work on reindeer, especially if they're not ordinary reindeer, but it could be worth a try.
Could definitely be worth a try. I'm gonna go ahead and try to gather some people up later today and see if I can't. Here's the thing. I know the people that took them. They have a very, very, very radical set of ideas, but I'm going to try to convince them to simply let go of their cargo of the reindeer
And
and the
possibly tell
vehicle.
you how to control them.
It,
Because if they can make the reindeer docile, then it would be helpful if you knew how.
yep. Here's the thing. I don't think they understand what kind of shitstorm they have gotten themselves into. If I can convince them that having the sled and the reindeer are more of a hassle to them than their superiors would be if they lost it, I think they'd be willing to play ball.
Well, what did they want it for?
Um, as far as I can tell, and as far as I can guess, the particular vehicle crashed into our neighborhood, and they were there to pick up the pieces and reclaim the vehicle. I don't think they know what they have quite yet.
So, salvage.
Yep,
But
pretty
if they
much
don't
they
know
were
what they
salvage.
have, how did they know that they'd need something to keep the reindeer quiet?
Perhaps they already have some information or data about how to handle hostile creatures, maybe? They're pretty damn good about reclaiming whatever hell gets lost and falls down to earth, I've seen.
Okay, well, do they maybe. I'm just wondering if maybe they had something to do with it crashing, because I doubt it crashes often.
It doesn't, and I was actually able to talk to the pilots that were piloting the craft for it crashed now. They're not the regular pilots, so it could be down to just little green man error, because the pilots were literally little green men that I thought came from a different planet, but happens just to be from Santa's workshop.
Right. So I take it this is usually in a different realm or something? 'Cause I'm sure we would have seen it by now if it was normally here. But I mean, like,
I
there's realms with everything in them. Everything you can imagine will be somewhere in one of the realms. So maybe they came from there?
very, very possible.
Do we know where they came from?
North Pole, I would assume.
Well, yeah, but presumably not the real, our North Pole, as far as we know.
It doesn't really matter at this moment. All I want to do is gather all the pieces together, the two little green pilots, the sled, as well as the reindeer, and just see them go off.
Yeah, I can kind of get that. They don't seem like the friendliest of people. Well, animals.
They're definitely not meant to be here. But in any case, if you think you can help, I can go ahead and call you up when I'm gathering my own particular group of people to handle this.
Cool. I think I'm going to get some sleep and then maybe meditate a bit, and hopefully I'll be feeling a bit better in a day or two.
One quick question. While you're around here, can you pretty much see if any of the Verbena are around? I haven't talked to them in quite a long while, and I don't want them to simply disappear like a lot of the other chantries have been doing.
I'll keep my eyes open, but nothing too unusual has been happening as far as I can tell. I mean, the pups are still around. Occasionally bump into Alex, but he always seems to be busy these days, dashing out. So, like, he'll be running out the door with a mouthful of toast, and
Fair
just like
dues, fair dues. I just don't
wave.
want them to disappear.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I'll see what I can do.
Jericho's going to go ahead and collect his things again and stuff them into his magical murder bag. But he'll produce another cherry sucker, actually, and hand to Alicia, in case you want more.
Oh, thank you. And she's going to look very awkward for a moment, and then she will pat Jericho on the shoulder. It's like she was trying to figure out exactly how to respond there, and then she's just going to wander off in the direction of her bedroom, slightly fast because of awkwardness. And there,
Jericho for bars, just
I was just going to end it, but yeah.
oh, go ahead and do so.
There, the scene will end.